the headlines, NDLEA destroys 120 tons of seized drugs in Lagos. Alleged organ harvesting trial of Ekweremadu, 2 others continue Thursday at UK Central Criminal Court. Atiku appoints Dino Melaye, Daniel Bola as campaign spokespersons. And on the foreign scene, Mexican journalists killed in bar shooting, 13th this year. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. And we begin with crime, where over 560,000 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs were on Thursday set ablaze by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the largest to be destroyed in the 32nd year history of the anti-narcotic agency. Leading top officials of the NDLEA, other security agencies and members of the public in the burning of heaps of the illicit drugs, Chairman Chief Executive of the agency, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, said the exercise is a strong message to drug barons and cartels that they will not continue to lose their huge investments, or they will continue to lose their huge investments in the criminal trade if they fail to back out and look for other legitimate businesses. The report.
The over 5,600 illicit drug burnt at a brief ceremony in Badagry area of Lagos include cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and ephedrine. Others are cannabis sativa, cat, tramadol, benylin with codeine, which were seized by the Murtala Muhammed International Airport Command, Lagos State, and the Semi-Special Area Command. Speaking at the ceremony, General Muhammad Buba Marwa said efforts by men of the agency not only resulted in the seizure of the aforementioned drugs, but also culminated in the arrest, prosecution, and conviction of the offenders in court. Marwa explained that since January 2021, the agency has arrested over 17,647 drug offenders, of which 2,385 have been convicted in court.
Since January last year, we have arrested over 17,000 drug offenders, of which 2,369 have been convicted. In the process, we have seized over 3.5 million kilograms of assorted drugs.
The NDLEA boss, who assured that the agency will not only focus on drug supply reduction, also noted that they are reaching out to young people through prevention messages on social media platforms. He added that they are working with other institutions to provide educational opportunities, vocational skills training, and other socio-economic support for this vulnerable group. While commending the officers and men of the agency for their commitment that has made it possible for the current success, General Marwa praised President Muhammadu Buhari for his political will in tackling the drug menace.
To address the drug problem in the country, and there is no better time than now to adopt evidence-based programs and policies to counter the destructive impact of the drug scourge which has pervaded our society the past few years.
The NDLEA boss had earlier led his top officials on a courtesy visit to the Akran of Badagry, Oba Claudius Dosa Akran, whom he employed to set up drug control committee in his kingdom as part of efforts to support the war against drug abuse in the country.
In politics, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has appointed Daniel Bola and Senator Dino Melaye as his campaign spokesperson. While Melaye was defeated in the last PDP senatorial primary election for the Kogi West Senatorial District, Bola, who jumped the ruling All Progressives Congress for the PDP a few weeks ago, was a legal aid to the Deputy Senate President, Ovie Omo-Agege. A statement released on Thursday by the media advisor to Atiku, Paul Ibe, said the 2 appointments will take immediate effect. Justice Basin Kanang of the Akwa Ibom State High Court on Thursday sentenced Uduak Akpan to death by hanging for the murder of Inobong Umoren. Umoren, a graduate of Philosophy University of Uyo, was killed on April 2021. She was job hunting while awaiting mobilization for the compulsory National Youth Service Corps scheme. Uduak's father, Frank Akpan, and his sister, Anwan Basi, second and third accused, have been discharged and acquitted. Former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu will remain in prison till October 31st as his organ harvesting case has been adjourned again. Ekweremadu appeared in court on Thursday, anticipating ruling on his bail application, but the judge adjourned the case till the end of October for a hearing. It can be recalled that the Nigerian senator first appeared before the Uxbridge Magistrates Court in London, where the lawmaker denied all the charges against him. Ekweremadu and his wife were initially denied bail and remanded in custody, while the case was adjourned to July 7 and later August 4. However, on July 2nd, his wife Beatrice was granted bail under strict conditions. Adamu Bulkachua, Senate Committee Chairman on Foreign Affairs, was in court to show support for Ekweremadu. The court allowed only 20 people to witness proceedings and no recording devices were allowed in the courtroom. The decision by the National Broadcasting Commission to slam a fine of 5 million naira on Trust Television Network over the broadcast of a documentary titled Nigeria's Banditry, The Inside Story, which was aired by the station on March 5, 2022, has sparked widespread condemnation. Many industry stakeholders and other Nigerians have accused the federal government agency over what they described as gagging of the press and denying Nigerians the right to know. In its reaction, the International Press Center Executive Director Lanre Rogunade, in a statement, said the government should not dictate how the media should present its report to the public, adding that the spate of insecurity affects everyone. Credible information is key to getting to the root of the situation. Similarly, the Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, in a letter signed by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, said the media has a duty to impart information and ideas on the issue of public importance, noting that carrying out the threat of sanction would lessen the flow of diverse viewpoints and information to the public. Meanwhile, a statement by Trust TV's management says while it is currently studying the Commission's action and weighing its options, it wishes to state unequivocally that as a television station, it believes it acted in the public interest by shedding light on the thorny issue of banditry and how it is affecting millions of citizens in the country. On security, one of the freed victims of Kaduna-Abuja train attack said dialogue between abductors of the train passengers and the federal government will go a long way in securing the release of the remaining victims still in captivity. The released victim made this known during an interview with Trust TV in Kaduna while narrating his ordeal in the hands of the kidnappers.
You know, not knowing exactly what will happen every moment is our fear, because we're afraid anything can happen anytime by anybody. So that is our fear. So I am calling on the government, I'm pleading to come to the aid of our brothers that are over there so that they can gain their freedom. Dialogue, in my religion, Islam, dialogue is still the best option to get our brothers back home. I'm pleading to the government. Despite the fact they've taken a position, they should please listen to our yearning. We left our brothers there. I'm back home, but I'm not sleeping.
In the same vein, the federal government on Wednesday said the Abuja-Kaduna rail service will not resume until all those kidnapped by bandits in March are rescued and reunited with their families. Minister of Transportation Muazu Sambo disclosed this during an inspection visit to the Idu and Kubwa train stations in Abuja. He said the federal government is deploying advanced technologies to rail services across the country to forestall similar security breaches. On Tuesday, 5 of the abducted passengers regained their freedom, bringing the total number of released victims to 37, while 35 passengers remain in captivity of the bandits. The families of abducted passengers have led several protests demanding the government to facilitate the release of their loved ones. On a sad note, a 17-year-old student of Offa Grammar School in Offa local government area of Kwara State, Adegoke Adeyemi, has allegedly committed suicide following his failure to gain promotion to the next class in his school. Police sources say the student, who was found hanging on a tree, resorted to taking his life after failing to pass his promotion examination from SS1 to SS2. Police Public Relations Officer of Kwara Command, Okasomi Ajayi, in a statement in Ilorin on Wednesday, said the senior secondary school student was asked to repeat the class but felt shame and took his life. The Kwara State Police Command says it made a breakthrough in the arrest of a notorious cultist on the wanted list of the anti-cultism team at a supermarket when it accosted the cultist named Monday Ojuagbu. A statement by the command's public relations officer said the wanted cult suspect and other members of his gang were said to be on a mission to carry out another gruesome attack on a yet-to-be-identified target. While others escaped, the police spokesman said the leader was apprehended by the police at the supermarket, where they were traced at about 6 p.m. on Tuesday. He said while efforts are in progress to arrest his fleeing accomplices, the Commissioner of Police in the state on Tuesday, Asayomo, has assured of the command's commitment to rid the North Central state of criminal activities. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Efforts to enhance commercial transport business. Do stay with us.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that NDLEA destroys 120 tons of seized drugs in Lagos. You also heard that alleged organ harvesting trial of Ekweremadu, 2 others continue Thursday at UK Central Criminal Court. Moving on to more news, the Center for Information Technology and Development has challenged civil society organizations and the media to hold government accountable for development purposes through budgetary participation. CITAD gave the challenge to at a budgetary performance quarterly review meeting in Bauchi State. Adamu Imam completes the report.
At the meeting focused mainly on budget performance and tracking as a way of preparing journalists and civil society representatives to pressurize government through data-based reporting to do more through their policies and programs. One of the arguments is about people-oriented projects that are always captured in budgets but never see the light of day even after funds have been released.
It's a gap of the level of citizens' participation in governance, and in any democratic setting, it can be better if citizens are fully engaged in all the processes. Budgeting process is one of the important issues that both the citizens and the government needs to collaborate together to form a synergy and work together to ensure that development activities are conducted in the state effectively. So that's why we invited the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, SUBEF, Minister of Education, and also we invited civil society organizations that are working in those communities to now assess the level of performance of the budget, to share experiences, and also drive ways of entry and advocacy to issues that we can engage the government to ensure that development is stepped down to the communities as when due and based on the needs and priorities of the people.
Media representatives want the authorities to encourage citizen participation in the budget process as a way of promoting accountability on the part of the government.
Also be active participants with the public, with communities. Journalists are just like the civil society organization, as well as mobilize the citizens to make sure that the budget process, the budget process, citizens are not only involved, to make sure that those that are to be held accountable are held accountable.
Center for Information Technology and Development, while explaining the importance of the quarterly review meeting, said it will make the government to embrace transparency in its dealings with the people.
The Kwara State government has facilitated purchase and distribution of 50 minibuses to the 2 main transport workers' union in the state as part of efforts to enhance commercial transport business in the state. The 50 buses are to be shared by the National Union of Road Transport Workers and Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria. Represented by his Commissioner for Works and Transport, Rotimi Ilyasu, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak says the aim is to ease movement of commuters and goods across the state. The project is facilitated by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Community Intervention, Kayode Oyin Zubair, who appealed to the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the opportunity and save for prompt repayment. The 50 minibuses have a repayment plan of 18 months.
Welcome everyone to this auspicious gathering, which again underlines the effort of our administration to support businesses. Today's event is the second phase of our community transportation. In our sustained efforts at ensuring that the transport sector is given the desired attention, we are rolling out another 50 minibuses known as Korope to ease movement of commuters, goods, and services across communities in Kwara State. This intervention is worth 125 million. The government on our part guaranteed the facility.
And this project that we are here today is another initiative of 125 million. That is 50 minibuses, 25 to RTAN, 25 to NUR2W. These are our interventions on road or transport sector. A lot have been done in other sectors.
In business, the Zone 4 Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has expressed dissatisfaction with Central Bank of Nigeria's policy of restricting the supply of dollars to BDC operators. The Financial Secretary of the association, Yusuf Sadiq, explained that the action by CBN is one of the reasons that the exchange rate of the naira to dollar is on a steady fall. Sadiq commended the EFCC's decision to raid the market, noting that even before the EFCC intervention, the leadership of the association has been trying to curtail the rate at which naira falls to the dollar.
Is giving Bureau de Change dollar. That is when CBN will give the CBN dollar in official rate. Then the market will control itself, will not try to go against CBN's rule. But CBN now stopped giving the BDC dollar. Now it is the BDC now will now source their dollar to sell to their customers. The customer will bring their dollar from where they get from and bring it to the BDC operators to sell. CBN now cannot control BDC operators. How much are you selling dollar? How much are you buying dollar? Before coming of EFCC, we the market officials, we have started the operation before the coming of EFCC. And the coming of EFCC is very, very much, we like their coming. Because it is we that will control the market. If the market is going high, what makes it to go high? Whose demand is in the market that is dollar is going high? Within 1 hour, dollar will rise more than 10 naira. That is why we the officials know this is not good to our economy. For me, if CBN wants all this thing to finish, bring back bidding. Let the dollar be available. If there is dollar available, honestly speaking, you come here, dollar will even go down beyond 500. You can even get dollar 300. It depends on this CBN official rate.
Away from Nigeria, 3 people, including a prominent local journalist, have been shot dead inside a bar in central Mexico, marking the 13th murder of a media worker this year as violence against Mexican journalists escalates. Guanajuato Governor Diego Rodriguez Vallejo condemned the Tuesday night killing of Ernesto Mendez, the director of the local outlet Tubas or Your Voice, after a group of gunmen stormed the bar which Mendez also owned in the town of San Luis de la Paz. Mendez had also worked at the news site Zona Franca several years ago, according to its director Carmen Martinez. The journalist had previously received threats, according to human rights organization Article 19. The attack also left 1 person seriously wounded and other victims were not named. Still on the international scene, authorities in Mexico say rescuers are battling to free 10 workers believed to be trapped in a coal mine in northern part of the country. 3 other miners were found alive. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said military personnel and rescue dogs were deployed to the scene of the accident in the state of Coahuila. The security minister said later that 3 had been rescued and taken to hospital, while 10 were still believed to be inside. The ministry said the rescue efforts will not stop until they are found. In sports, Chelsea have completed the signing of Carney Chukwuemeka from Aston Villa, the club announced on Thursday. Tuchel continues to reinforce Chelsea with the 4th signing of the summer. The London club has earlier announced that they had reached an agreement with Villa for the 18-year-old's permanent transfer to Stamford Bridge as Thomas Tuchel continues to reinforce his squad ahead of the 2022-2023 Premier League season. And finally, 5 Nigerian athletes Ife Chukwude Ikpeoyi, Faith Obazwaye, Nasiru Sule and Esau Ogunkunle have qualified for the semi-finals of the para table tennis event of the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, while Ikpeoyi, a debutante, first secured her place in the women's single classes 3-5 after finishing second in her group. Another Nigerian, Chinenye Obiora, was however unlucky as she failed to book her place in the last 4. Obazwaye, a silver medalist of the 2018 edition, has also secured her spot in the semi-final of the women's singles classes 8-10 after placing second in her group. In the men's single classes 3-5, Sule and Ogunkunle topped their groups to hit the semi-final round of the competition. Also, Tajuddin Ogumbiade in the men's singles classes 8-10 secured his place in the semi-finals. With this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashin Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.